Welcome back to the shop. Well, today we're going to go ahead and wrap up the router table. The last thing I need to do is build the door for it as well as the drawer fronts. Last time we got all the drawers made and installed, and we're just going to go ahead and finish that up. And to make the doors and drawer fronts, I've gone ahead and cut the stock to size, and I just measured the openings and added a 1/2 inch, so I'll have a 1/4 inch overlay on everything. No particular reason, this isn't a high precision type project. It's just a shop router table, but it is going to be very functional for a long time. To make the rabbets in the back side of everything, I thought I would use my new router table. So I haven't set this up yet. I did check it, it does run, everything seems to work. But let's go ahead and I'll show you just how easy this is, and you can see the first time I set up the router table. Let's go. Before we get started on this project, I'd like to take a moment to talk about shop safety. Be sure to read, understand, and follow all the safety rules that come with your power tools. And if you don't understand something, find somebody that's competent that can teach you how to do it correctly. And remember, there's no more important safety rule than to use this, your brain, because a poke in the eye with a sharp stick really hurts. I've gone ahead and cut the boards for the drawer fronts and the door, and now I just want to put a rabbet around it so that it'll fit flush with the cabinet. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and use the router table. I'm just going to use a 3/8 rabbeting bit, and I have yet to actually run this router table with any material, so we'll go ahead and try it out together. It is unplugged, by the way, so I'm going to go ahead and put in a rabbeting bit. And collet. And the nice thing about this is that I can raise the collet up above the surface of the router table, so it makes it really easy to install the different bits. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a ring in place, and this just drops in, and it gives you a little, at some point here it'll drop in, and it says right on it tighten, loosen, and it just gives you a little kind of wrench thing, and just put that in there, and that'll tighten it up into place. To drop it down to get it close to the right depth that I want, I'm just going to insert this in the hole here, and that will go in as I find there we go, and I'll just break it up. We're going to bring it up to where I think is about where I'm going to want it. Okay. And now from there, all I have to do is measure, and in this case I'm just going to go half the thickness of the material, and I can use the knob that I have located down here to actually fine-tune this. And this would be, whoops, this way's up. And there we go. Like I say, this isn't super precision, but that will more than do what I'm looking for. I don't have the dust collection hooked up yet. I'm still waiting for a couple of parts to come in. I also don't have a fence yet, and I'm hoping that before this video goes out that I will have the fence installed and I can show you what the final project looks like. I do know that the next project I'll be using the router table quite a bit, and you'll be able to see its application then. Let's go ahead and get started. So to turn the router table on, I have my switch down here. It's got a nice big off paddle, and I just turn it on, and I have my guide pin set so that I can feed it in slowly. There we go, nice and easy. One of the things I just noticed about this, on my old router table, if I tried to do this, I would see several different layers of veneer when I was making my rabbets, and I noticed that I'm on the exact same thickness of veneer all the way around, so that tells me, and it looks like it's a consistent thickness as I look at all the different sides, so I know that my tabletop isn't warped and I'm getting good cuts, which is really nice to see because I haven't had that in a long time. Well, I got this one done. I got about 5 more to go plus the door, and then we'll be ready to go. Now that I have all my rabbets done, I'm just going to go ahead and take the sander to it and break the edges and kind of clean these up before I do the final installation. Now that I have all the drawer faces sanded, I'm going to go ahead and install them. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. This is the way I find is the easiest. All I've done is I've put a couple pieces of double stick tape on here, and I'm just going to peel that off, which is probably the hardest part of this. So now that the tape has been taken off, I've got the drawer in place, and I will just go ahead and get it lined up where I want it. And we can just push it in place. So we've done that. We can go very carefully pull the drawer out. You can see I knew it was going to hit on this lever, and that's okay. We'll just go ahead and move the drawer. For drawer hardware, I went down to the local Habitat for Humanity Restore again, one of my favorite places, and there's a lot of good reasons to go to a Habitat for Humanity Restore. First of all, you're helping out a good cause, and also you can find really good stuff there. And third, when you bring all this stuff home and your wife asks you, what are you doing? It didn't cost you that much, and you probably won't get in that much trouble. So that's why I like to go there. And like I say, for $2, I can get a whole bunch of drawer handles that work out perfect for the shop environment. And these are really nice. They're a brushed stainless steel, and they have kind of an industrial look that I think will work good in my shop here. So we're going to go ahead and install those. And all I need to do is locate, get everything centered. I will drill some holes, and we'll get those installed. To install the handle, I've made a real simple jig. It's just a block of wood. I think it's 2 inches by 5 inches, and I've marked the lines and drilled holes that'll match the holes on the handle I'm going to install. Because everything is centered on here, all I have to do is center this block on the front of the drawer, and I will have it exactly where I want. Now to do that, I guess I could measure, but it's easier just to kind of set it in place, and I'll just bring a tri-square up and mark it, and I'll come over and check the other side, and it's a little bit off, it's a little long, so I can just shorten that up a little bit, and I can go ahead and reset that, check it from the other side again, see if it moves. It looks really good to me. I can do the same for to level it side to side, and I can check this a couple times, just making sure I get it exactly where I want it. Make sure it's square. And once I have it right where I want it, I can just clamp it in place. And drill my holes. Now I'm ready to install my handle. And there we go. One handle down. I got 5 to go, plus the door. I don't know if I'm just going to get another one of these handles for that, or if I'll come up with something different. But just going to repeat the process and get them all installed. Well, I went ahead and went down and picked up the fence for the router table, and I just went ahead and stuck with woodpeckers on this. So we're going to go ahead and assemble this real quick. It's a really heavy extruded aluminum. All the pieces are here. The instructions are actually really well written, so this shouldn't take us long at all. I do have a couple of little things left to do to complete this project. First of all, I need to get a straight edge and run it along the face of my fence to make sure that everything is coplanar on that. And then I do need to attach the dust collection hose, and I'll show you that here next. So as I mentioned before, on the dust collection system, I've gone ahead and attached the hose that goes up to the fence, and that was just a simple 2.5-inch hose. I made it come out the back of the router table and just routed it up to here. In hindsight, I should have made this a little bit longer so I could loop it around the edge here if I wanted to, just so I could move it up closer to things, and I may still do that. I still have some more hose. The actual main hose coming in from the dust collection system is just going to pop into this side right there, and everything will be hooked up and ready to go. Now, as far as the mobile base is concerned, as you can see, it's up on it right now with air in it, and it seems to move around fairly easily. The biggest problem I'm going to have is that it does tend to tip, in this case, a little bit forward, and then the drawers will want to occasionally ride out. But it's really not that big of an issue. When I'm ready to lower it down into place, I can just reach down inside here and open the valve, and it will drop down into its resting place. And now that's down on the feet, and it's nice and stable. Well, I've gone ahead and moved the bulk of my router stuff and shaper equipment over into the new table, and it looks like it's really going to work out great. Before I go too much farther though, I forgot to mention there are a couple of MDF boards that you do apply to the face of the fence. That just took a couple of seconds with the hardware provided. There's also this guard that fits over the blade. I'll have to kind of figure out how I want to use that as the whole system kind of comes together for me. I'm still kind of on a learning curve with how to use a proper router table. As far as the layout of the router table is concerned, I've gone ahead and kind of put the extra parts and the tools specific to the router table in this drawer here. Now, one of the things that I knew this was going to happen was that this paddle does get in the way of this, but really it's, at least for now, I'm not too concerned about that. It's easy to move over. Down here is my big drawer. It has room enough for probably 6 routers. I have 5 in there right now, and that seems to be just fine. Over, obviously in the center is where the actual current motor is. In this top drawer over here, we have the router bits and the wrenches specific to the routers in here. In the drawer down below that, I have some shaper cutters and spindles and spacers, that sort of thing, extra parts for the shaper. In the next drawer down, I have some more shaper cutters, a couple of router bases, collets, just miscellaneous router parts. And then down in the bottom drawer here is another router and some router jigs, and I guess a router base for a Dremel tool if I ever decide to try that again. Other than that, everything seems to be exactly what I was hoping for. Now, one of the things that when I use this router to cut the rabbet around the drawer edge, you saw that it kicked out a lot of sawdust. So what I want to do now is I'll go ahead and throw in the rabbeting bit, and we'll just run a piece around there with the dust collection going, and we'll see how it works out with that. Okay? So as you could see, there was virtually no sawdust flying out. All of it was captured by the dust collection system, which will make life in my shop a lot easier. Well, that looks like we're about it for this project. I have a few little details that I need to go ahead and take care of, but that'll just take a few minutes here and there. Overall on this project, I'm very happy. I think the router table I have will last me for the rest of my life easily. This wasn't a difficult project to do. In fact, if you had a good router and a circular saw with a good straight edge, you could easily build this project. The only real complicated joinery was the dovetailing of the drawers. Even that was made simple with a dovetailing jig, and you don't need to dovetail the drawers on it. It's just something, I have the jig, I want to make sure I use it and get my money's worth. If there's any other real negatives out of this project, I would have to say the biggest one would be the cost. I did spend a little bit more than I normally would have, but again, I haven't spent a lot of money on tools lately, so I kind of splurged on this one. If I had to rank it as far as a 1 to 10 quarter scale for the cuss jar, I'd probably give this about a 4/4 for its complexity and the cost associated with it. The other thing that I just want to mention is that the pneumatic lift system that I put on it does work well, and I would like to use it in the future, but I may make some changes to it. But really, I'm happy with that as well. So as usual, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, feel free to email me at andrew@thelevelplumbandsquare.com. And until next time, have a good day.